Welcome to this first of a series of historical interludes in A Voice of One Calling, as we examine some amazing ways the Holy Spirit has worked throughout all the centuries. These historical interludes will teach us ways and means of God's leading, the inner and outer guidance of the Holy Spirit, starting with St. Patrick. Many of you think Patrick was Irish, as we celebrate him every 17th of March. Yet the truth was, Patrick was not an Irishman. He was an Anglo-Saxon living in England. He was taken here to Ireland as a captive, as a boy. He escaped his captivity through a series of dreams and visions given to him by the Holy Spirit within him, which led him out of Ireland back to England. And it was there some years later he had a dream in which he heard the voice of the Irish beckoning him to come over and convert them to Christ. Well, come over he did. And here on this exact site, it's called Saul. It's in the area of Northern Ireland and Downpatrick. On this site, Patrick put a stake in the ground. He was given this land right here as his first place where he was to bring the gospel to all of Ireland. Within 30 years of his life, he had converted the entire pagan culture, it was said, to Jesus Christ. How did he do it? He did it by the inner guidance, the inner witness, the intuition of the Holy Spirit. You know, in this series, we are teaching you on the revelatory lifestyle. And come with me as we look at Patrick and hear some amazing stories of how he was led by the Spirit of God inside and out. You know, one of the great truths I want to share as I sit here in the area of Saul is this. Patrick understood something that all of creation, all of nature, God could speak through it at any time. Through the birds of the sky, through the wind, through the fire, through the earth, God could and would speak to us and lead us by His Spirit. An amazing truth that He captured as He came here, and an amazing truth even for you today. Let me read you one portion of a poetic verse which Patrick wrote. I arise today through the strength of heaven, light of sun, brilliance of moon, splendor of fire, speed of lightning, swiftness of wind, depth of sea, stability of earth, firmness of rock. St. Patrick. Come with me in this journey as we look at St. Patrick in this historical interlude. Okay, I'm here in the wild Irish wilderness next to a waterway, the very waterway in which Patrick himself maneuvered his wee boat up and began his evangelization of this nation of Ireland. You know, one of the greatest truths that we can learn from Patrick was this. He had a great discipline as a young Celtic missionary, and he disciplined himself to be listening to God and praying to God almost continuously. This is something that carried through to all of the Celtic monks and those great men and women who went forth from this nation and evangelized all of Europe. They carried with them a great amount of discipline, personal piety, in which they sought the Lord anywhere and everywhere. Listen to this true account of Patrick's own writing of what he did. He said this, when I came here, I used to pray many times during the day. More and more, my love of God and reverence for Him began to increase. My faith grew stronger and my zeal so intense that in the course of a single day, I would say as many as 100 prayers and as many at night. This I did when I was in the rain or in the woods or next to the water or in the mountains. Let me translate that for you in modern terms, in A Voice of One Calling, in a lesson we can learn from St. Patrick. It is this: seek the Lord in your busy life 5 minutes an hour, 1 hour a day, 1 day a week. By doing this, you will fulfill even what Patrick taught us here in Ireland, that you can be continuously praying to your God in the midst of all the busyness of life and listening and tuning in to hear His voice. You can be seeking Him anywhere and everywhere, 5 minutes an hour, 1 hour a day, 1 day a week. Let's continue on to our final episode of this journey with St. Patrick. Well, we end this journey of looking at the life of St. Patrick here at Down Cathedral in Downpatrick, Ireland. Beneath my foot is the stone marker the marker that marks the place where the remains of Patrick are laid. But he, being dead, yet speaks to us of this truth. God is everywhere. Christ is everywhere. And let me read to you a final portion of what's called the Lorica. Christ with me, Christ beneath me, Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ where I lie, Christ where I sit, Christ where I arise. Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of every friend and stranger, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. Salvation is of the Lord, said St. Patrick. It is truth today. Salvation is of Christ, and Christ is in the mouth of everyone you meet if you're listening for him.
Now Patrick is dead, and the saints and the scholars are all laid to rest, but the Spirit remains. All we need is a breath of that fire, and we can rekindle the flames. Let the flame burn throughout our country. Let young and old